selling it very often. How much is it worth?
What?
The last legitimate offer we got for the gun was $200 million.
What's up, guys? So it is a Sunday. It's about 3 p.m. and it's raining hard. I'm here to go see the National Museum of Art History. At first I wanted to see the Holocaust Museum, but then turns out the map was wrong and it would have been a 25-minute walk to get there, and I already parked and paid. So now I'm going to the National Museum of Art History, which is much closer of a walk. It is raining really hard, which is part of the plan. I want to go there when there's less people who want to go outside to miss the crowd. But turns out there's a lot of traffic for some reason. A lot of people on the road, even though it's pouring outside. Anyhow, I don't know what to expect. I have less than 2 hours before the museum closes. Let's see what happens. Here I am, and you can kind of see it behind me, but that is the FBI headquarters building, or just some type of FBI building behind me. Anyhow, let's go.
Well, I was raised up beneath the shade of a Georgia pine, and that's home, you know. Sweet tea, pecan pie, and homemade wine, where the peaches grow. My house is not much to talk about, but it's filled when love is grown in southern ground, and a little bit of gin fry. Cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio. I like to see the sun, see the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, and know a mother's love. It's a little bit of chicken fry, see some Jenny, little bit of fry, little bit of chicken fry, see some Jenny, little bit of chicken fry, see some Jenny, little bit of fry, little bit of chicken fry, see some Jenny. Funny how it's the little things in life that mean the most. Not where you live, what you drive, or the price tag on your clothes. There's no dollar sign on a piece of mind, this I've come to know. So if you agree, have a drink with me, raise your glasses for a toast to a little bit of chicken fries and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and a radio. I like to see the sunrise, see the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, and know a mother's love. Little bit of chicken fry, see some Jenny, little bit of fry, little bit of chicken fry, see little bit of chicken fry, see some Jenny, little bit of fry, I thank God for my life, for the stars and stripes, may freedom forever fly. Let it ring, salute the ones who died, the ones that give their lives so we don't have to sacrifice all the things we love, like our chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio. I like to see the sunrise, see the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, and know a mother's love. Little bit of chicken fry, see some Jenny, little bit of fry, little bit of chicken fry, see some Jenny, little bit of chicken fry, little bit of fry.
This is exceptionally timely. So right now I'm in the human Homo Sapien gallery, I guess you can call it. And behind me is some type of cave paintings and caveman stuff. It's very timely because I'm just finishing up the book Guns, Germs, and Steel, which is recommended by well, not really Warren Buffett. His partner, Charlie Munger, recommends it quite a lot, and it's a book about history. I just finished up the book Sapiens earlier, which is about history, and Guns, Germs, and Steel really goes deep into history. In fact, there's a few really cool insights from the book that I want to share with you. Well, just one for now, which is that most people assume that like cavemen were really dumb and stupid and slow, but in reality, based off his theories in the book Guns, Germs, and Steel, he believes that cavemen were actually smarter than us. They had bigger brains than us, and it had a lot to do with the fact that their children were constantly actively being stimulated, whereas now our children are just sitting in front of the computer or TV every day watching entertainment. And when you're hunting, you need an encyclopedia level of knowledge and wisdom to really hunt well. So it's interesting to see this stuff. Charlie Munger recommends the book Guns, Germs, and Steels because the author really goes deep into always asking why. Why were the whole book's premise is that ultimately it comes down to like a few factors in climate and luck that explain why European countries were able to dominate and decimate and become wealthy over other countries and nations and tribes like Native Americans, and people just assume, oh, it's just because you're smarter, but he kept asking why until he dug into the science and history and discovered the truth, which involved a lot of archaeology like this.
Doctors tell us that it's probably made by a strong individual. This individual possibly killed the male, but he lived pretty long for an animal, well, at least 40. Tremendous arthritic.
So these monuments / wax figure heads are actual height size, and this woman, this female, is actually taller than me. I'm about 5'10", so she's about 6 foot tall probably, and she is the longest living member of the human family tree. She is a Homo erectus member. Looks kind of like she's staring at me. So what you see in front of you is dirt, just different types of dirt, and they go into the ground, dig this out, and based off what's in the dirt, they can figure out what type of national disaster happened that sometimes changed the climate of the region forever. So it goes from 500,000 years ago all the way to 1 million years ago, and they do things like, they take the dirt and they notice that there's reddened sediments of burnt diatomite and plant debris, which indicates a wet to dry climate change, all the way down to like 1 million years ago. Ancient soil with fine root markings indicate a dry grassy plain. So this place, wherever it is, it's Kenya. This place went from like a rainy place to like a dry grassy place to like a volcanic eruption happening, and all of a sudden it gets all like dry and the marsh dies, and it's become this like barren like wasteland with earthquakes. Interesting. So here is this man called William Lizardo Jr. When he was 6, the influenza epidemic of 1918 occurred, and it was such a paranoia that people didn't go out, they didn't go to church, they didn't touch each other, they didn't eat together, and of course social interactions and intimacy were extinguished because of that paranoia.
Free bodies retain little gas, becoming the lucky brothers.
Isn't that interesting? There's so many gems out here that are quite fascinating. A lot of the stuff that exists in us came from atoms that existed thousands of years ago. More than thousands, probably millions of years ago. So it's fascinating to see all these different types of material that can be created from the earth of all these different colors. I've learned that a lot of these are just too rare or too fragile to be worn by humans. So it's fascinating seeing all the different colors that we aren't used to seeing. The pinks, the purples, the greens. I mean, there's more and more of it.
Josh, look at this. Look how big that is. Isn't that Star sapphire, which I of course promptly lost. I also have a really hideous opal ring.
What's the chemical formula for calcium?
CO2.
CaCO3.
Yeah, the calcium.
I was like, that's the biggest eyebrow.
Look at this purple.
It's very good dog.
Some of these have been turned into ornaments by humans. Others into gems, others remain in the rock. This is garnet, Fe3Al2SiO43. Fluorite, Barrel.
Yeah.
Copper.
Probably start out with this and what they do is to bring release.
So that was my speed tour of the diamond exhibits, gem exhibits. I went really fast, and I'm gonna go back in and read all the labels now. I learned that method from this museum tour guide featured on Ramit Sethi's blog about a new way of touring museums where you kind of go fast quickly and then go back through more slowly so you don't get bored to death. Now that gem exhibit really got me thinking. So I don't rant too long. I'll give you one thought from that. I'm like 2 feet away from all these amazing gems, some of which were worn by the, most famous rich kings and queens that existed, like Napoleon, the first wife. And I'm thinking like, this is all cool and stuff. The world is really amazing to have created such different gems and minerals. But at the same time, they're just like rocks at the end of the day. Like, I'm looking at this stuff, it's really amazing, it is, but I'm like, they're just rocks at the end of the day. Like, they're different colored rocks, and I don't think like having this would really make me much happier. So think about that. Would that really make you much happier? Maybe for a short term, like what, a week, a month, but then you'll get bored of it. You'll take it for granted. It's just some rocks. Don't mistake pleasure for long-term happiness. Okay, so second time through this same exhibit at slower pace. Right now we have this ancient stardust thing that's probably older than pretty much anything else in the universe right now. So according to this sign here, it's saying that this thing is older than the solar system itself, probably the oldest material you'll ever see. And it's in this tiny vial here. And what it is like all you can really see is like some milky substance, but a couple inches away from me is something that was born, forged through a dying star and incorporated into the cloud that built our solar system, the Milky Way. And in a kind of coincidental way, it's also milky. It's essentially interstellar diamond dust.
So how much would it be? So we're asked at the Smithsonian very often, how much is it worth?
What?
The last legitimate offer we got for the diamond was $200 million. When Harry Winston ordered